Hi everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. The weekend is near, or here, depending on how you look at it. And today we're going to discuss an interesting circumstance involving the postseason and the Big 12, and why two Big 12 teams might just meet in a bowl game. And while that sounds cool, it's not. First reminder to please subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave those comments. And of course, I appreciate the ongoing support. Anything you do to interact with videos really helps creators. Thank you. It looks like the Alamo Bowl has decided to have an all Big 12 game. And it's an interesting circumstance that leads to this because bowl contracts for the Pac-12, for the most part, run through next year. But the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. But they do with their bowl tie-ins. So whether you're Oregon and Washington in the Big 10 or Cal and Stanford in the ACC, or Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah in the Big 12. If you make a bowl, Utah, you're going to one of the bowls that still has a Pac-12 tie-in. It's like the last string of Pac-12-ness that exists. And one of those bowls is the Alamo Bowl. An opponent from the Big 12 has been meeting an opponent from the Pac-12 in a great game. But now that opponent from the Pac-12 isn't in the Pac-12. And it looks like it's going to be in the Big 12. As you know, Arizona State and Iowa State play on Saturday for the Big 12 championship. The winner will advance to the playoff, and the loser will not, in all likelihood, and then drop to the best bowl possible in the Big 12 or Pac-12 pecking order, and that's the Alamo Bowl. So hypothetically, let's say Iowa State wins, Arizona State goes to the Alamo Bowl, and they will play the other team that was tied for the championship, BYU. I know that's a game that was played this season, but they haven't offered any clarity on that. They'd probably like Colorado, Iowa State. That would be a pretty cool game that requires Arizona State to win the game. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure this is actually going to happen because this is horrible for the Big 12. The playoff committee is literally saying you can't compete in the SEC or Big 10. You just can't. You stand no chance. And we know that's not true. Why? Because we've got the results to prove it. And every time one of those conferences has a loss, it's a good loss for that team because they lost to someone in their own conference. And when the Big 12 has a big win, not so important. Like BYU winning at SMU never happened. I know you think it did, but it never happened. It has no impact on the playoffs, which is a strange thing. In other words, this is an opportunity, this bowl season, for the Big 12 to further prove its worth. And I know what you're saying, but it's the bowl season. And every time the SEC claims all of our players left and we're no good, that's not how it works. If you're going to play the bowl, that's your team. And if you're not retaining players, that's your team. You understand? And if you really were that much better than everyone else, a few guys opting out wouldn't hurt you. But it does because you lose more often than you win in those bowl games. But instead, the fix is in. Now, two of the best teams that don't go to the playoff will be pitted up against each other so they can't beat someone from another conference. It's a slick trick. And I know the Alamo Bowl isn't doing that on purpose, but that's the net effect. So Alamo Bowl, if you're listening, and I know you watch all these. Thank you so much, Alamo Bowl. Don't do this to your partner. The Big 12 has been a loyal partner to you. You've developed from a low bowl game into a nearly playoff level bowl game. Don't screw over the Big 12 at this moment. Invite someone else. Invite Cal or Stanford. Oregon's not available and Washington kind of stinks. So you got a problem. But don't do this to the Big 12. This conference needs to play in bowl games against teams from other conferences and win those games. And even though those conferences will dismiss those victories, it doesn't really matter because it happened. We got to stop living in these hypothetical worlds. If we had all of our players or if you actually were in this conference, you would suck. And you know what? I'm done with it. I'm done with their hypotheticals. So don't create a new one for them. Hypothetically, you could have won the games against us, but you played in a bowl game against each other because everyone knows you suck and don't want to watch the games. It's an endless cycle of beating down the Big 12. Alamo Bowl. Don't take part in it.